Back Home Media.
Jail sucks.
This place isn't vacay. Let's get you out of here. Get bailed out quick with Big Fish bail bonds. Because jail sucks. Big or small, we release them all. 316-262-4100 or bailmeoutquick.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chaburgi, and joining me from Arizona, as usual, is Derek Relaford. How you doing, Derek?
Pretty good, man. Having a coughing fit. I had a cold last week, and it's mostly gone, but it's kind of like still kind of there. I'm still kind of a little raspy in my lungs and stuff. So, but it wasn't COVID. Last week, I started getting sick, so I took a COVID test this weekend, and it wasn't COVID. I just have some kind of cold, but I'm on the mend. But you might see me muting tonight and coughing a little bit. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good.
And I do have to apologize in advance. I'm not able to pull up my virtual background, so you're going to see my green screen all night. So I don't know what's going on. StreamYard's telling me that for some reason my browser is not compatible with the background feature. I need to switch to Google Chrome, which I'm already on. So there's that.
I want to thank all 24 people who are watching tonight because I'm not sure. I think there's a Kansas City Chiefs ball game going on.
There is. They're playing the Packers in preseason tonight.
Okay. And even though it's a preseason game, we know that anytime the Chiefs play on a show night, we definitely notice.
We definitely notice on the numbers.
Yeah, but we got some people here.
Hey, Christopher, how you doing?
Christopher Unruh, Tatum Kirkpatrick. Good evening, everyone. Amanda Cunningham. Hello from Texas, Derek. Aren't you the only one? Oh yeah.
Oh, you aren't the only one that's been sick all day too. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. You know, me and Ricky were talking about it. Ricky was sneezing a little bit today. I think a lot of it has to do with it's just the change of seasons. And then I don't know about other households, but my kids started school last week or the week before last, actually. And generally every year when my kids start school, they bring something home that first few days. And that's what's going on here. We all got sick from my son Race brought it home first. Andrea Lynn, Junction City. We got Dawn Lynn. Go Chiefs is what she says. I don't know about that, Dawn. I don't know about that. I think we ought to say go Cardinals. I'm a Bears fan, but I live in Phoenix now, so I have to like the Cardinals too. Connie Judd's in White City.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrea Lynn's got the TV, the game on, and she's watching us. That's nice.
Cool. There you go.
So does Rodney Cox, 17-10 Chiefs third quarter. The way to go.
Yeah.
We love it.
And of course, we've all heard of the passing of Chiefs legend Len Dawson the last couple of days, which is a sad deal.
Was he the announcer?
He was there. Of course, he was their quarterback for their first Super Bowl run back against the Packers way back when. Then he went into sports broadcasting after he retired.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sports broadcaster on KNBC 9.
What was his name?
Len Dawson.
Len.
Yep. Len.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to put this picture up because Norm actually talked about this last night on the show, and I've seen this picture before. It's a pretty famous picture. Let me get it up here real quick. But this is that's not it. I'm having trouble getting it downloaded. Let me see. It's the one where he's sitting on the sideline at Super Bowl I, has like a soda and a cigarette.
I think I saw that picture, man.
Yeah, you never saw that?
I did.
Oh, you saw that? Okay, I think most people have.
Like crazy now. But,
I mean, but just to talk about like what the differences in like athletes between now and then. Like, could you imagine seeing Tom Brady smoke a cigarette on the side? Like, right? That'd be so odd. But this was back in the day. The quarterback needed to smoke. What could he say?
Phil Walrod says, "Chiefs, get on board, my dude."
The Chiefs are no good. That's my buddy from my hometown. The Chiefs are no good. CC's in the house. What's up? What's up, Chris? Misty Hilton's from Kansas City, Kansas.
And a little known fact about myself is back in from 62 to 67, I had a second cousin, that did play with the Chiefs back then, and took he was a what they called a flanker back then, but he took a lot of handoffs and passes from Len Dawson back then.
Nice.
So yeah,
that is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, your brother's
never met
me,
that cousin. I've never met that cousin, but he is my cousin.
Your brother's
I
telling
wrote him
me
a letter
that,
once years ago, but I've never met him.
it's not hard to not talk to your family. I mean, it's pretty common. Your brother's saying that he was 30 years on the air as the Chiefs radio network.
Okay.
And he's saying it's not a soda. Phil Walrod also said it was a Fresca and a Marlboro. I mean, just talk about the difference of times.
I thought a Fresca was a soda.
That's what I thought too. Amanda says, I remember watching them smoke on the sidelines. Go Cowboys. Oh no.
Hey, Misty Hilton's here. No. Oops, I forgot
Jason
to silence
Pfeiffer
that
from
stupid
Victoria.
thing.
I'm in Nowhere, Kansas. That is south of Wichita. There you go, man. Hey, I'll be in Wichita on October 7th playing a rock and roll concert. Maybe you should show up, Chris. I will be there in October 7th, Wichita, Kansas at Kirby's Beer Store. I will also have a gigantic banner featuring missing people from Wichita. So it's going to be a really great event to show up to and support. But yeah, that's sort of the long and short of what we've been up to lately. Couple things we want to tell everybody before we get the show started. Check out kmupod.com. It's our website that we have up. For the most part, you're going to see some older cases on there, and those are ones that we've always, we've covered several cases weekly for years. There's just certain cases that have been out for a long time and we're really trying to find answers to. But there's a place where you can report cases. There's a list of great resources. Ricky, I mean, we spent, a couple of weeks going over and really making sure we had like the right phone numbers and the right resources on that website, And Ricky actually suggested most of them. He actually gave us a lot of those leads. So check out kmupod.com, and then also check out our Facebook page, kansasmissingandunsolved.com. And we also do Missouri Missing and Unsolved.com and America Missing and Unsolved.com. So there's lots of stuff going on there. Tatum's always keeping them full, flooded with content. So make sure you check out those. But we're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. We'll be right back after this.
Leaving an abusive relationship is a highly personal, individual decision, but all survivors benefit from having trusted people during this time. Since those experiencing abuse are often isolated by their abusers, it's important to know how you can support survivors on their path to finding safety. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, please reach out to the hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Again, that's 1-800-799-7233.
All right, we're going to start off. Oh, man.
You having issues, man?
Well, I'm going to have to do this hard way. Since I rebooted everything, I lost everything I pulled.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get through it. Well, this is Susan E. Anderson, Herman, Missouri. And this looks like right at about a year old. This was August 10th, 2021. So, we're a year and 15 days past her being missing. So Ricky will pull that up. And this is obviously going to be pulled from our Missouri Missing and Unsolved page. Again, we have Tatum that is behind the scenes that keeps all those pages pretty updated. So you can check out the Missouri page, and we'll cover a lot of cases from the Missouri page. We're kind of trying to both grow both pages, as you can see. But Ricky, tell us about Susan.
Yeah, she's missing from Herman, Missouri since August 10th of 2021. Excuse me. She is 84 years old. She's 5'6", weighs 115 pounds, has white hair and brown eyes, and she was last seen in Herman, Missouri. If you have any information regarding Susan's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Gasconade County, Missouri Sheriff's Office, 573-486-2424, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or toll free at 866-362-6422. See if we can help get Susan located and back home safely.
Yeah, that's and and maybe Why isn't this one a silver alert? I guess is
I
my
don't
question.
know. I don't know why they didn't issue a silver alert on her.
I wonder who is responsible for making that call, because it's not us. We kind of put on the flyers what we're told. So yeah, I mean, and again, not to sound rude or anything, but she's 84. You'd think like maybe that, but 84 doesn't mean she's not sound of mind. So maybe it's wrong to even think she would need to be a silver alert. But Ellen Dotson is here. Andrea said her phone's been broken. That's why she hasn't been on the show the last few times.
Okay.
Lori Hayes from Hayes is in the house. Case is coming in as we do the show. Tonight's featured case is going to be Jayden Hanner from Kansas City, Kansas. We got a 15-year-old here. Ricky, tell our audience about Jayden.
Okay, let me locate his flyer in my files here.
Pulling it up. 15 years old, Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah, I was trying to reboot the computer, see if that would fix my background issues, but it did not. So, Jayden Hanner's missing from Kansas City, Kansas since August 20th of 2022. He's 15. He is 5'10", weighs 190 pounds, has blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Jayden's disappearance, of his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Jayden located and back to where he needs to be.
Yeah, pretty young to be, unaccounted for, especially Kansas City. That's it's a pretty big spot.
Not a place you want to be missing from, that's for sure.
No. But the hairstyles, like, this is something I don't know anything about fashion or what's going on now, but this is something that reminds me of like 2007. I like it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends that had that kind of hairstyle around that time. It was pretty happening hairstyle. But anyway, Kansas City, Kansas, 15-year-old kid out there, not unaccounted for. So we need to get some information. If anybody has any information, let us know.
I'm going to show a picture just real quick.
Okay.
This was taken November 6th, 1992.
Oh, wow.
And that's Len Dawson. Me and Len Dawson back in 1992. And my hat got turned goofy because he did that.
He messed with your hat?
Yeah, he messed with my hat. But yeah, that was inside the KMBC TV station down in Kansas City is where that was at.
Are you wearing a Marlboro jacket?
No, it's just a red and black coat. That's all it is.
I was going to say, man, I didn't think you smoked that enough to get a jacket. That's like 3 years of smokes.
Yeah, I wish I had that coat still. That thing went up and down the road with me a lot, getting autographs and stuff over the years.
I'm telling you what, man, your wardrobe from back then would probably be worth quite a bit of money right now. Some college kid would just love to look like 1992 Ricky Tabruggi.
Right.
It would make him. Anyway, let's go ahead and go into another case. Let's go ahead and talk about Jade.
Okay, Jade DeWitt. Again, apologize for the delays, guys. Wouldn't be us without technical difficulties somewhere. Okay, pulling it up. Jade DeWitt missing from Atchison, Kansas since April 25th of this year, so it's been a few months now. 17 years old. She's 5'2" to 5'4", 120 pounds. Her hair is dyed half red and half black, and she has brown eyes. She was last seen at school and hasn't been heard from or seen since then. Again, she's 17 years old. She's 5'2" to 5'4", weighs 120 pounds. Her hair is dyed half red and half black, and she has brown eyes. She was last known to be wearing a light gray Champion hoodie, gray or light blue pants, and black and white checked Vans shoes. If you have any information regarding Jade's disappearance or of her whereabouts, please call please call 913-367-4323, which is the Atchison, Kansas Police Department, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get Jade located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah. It's always Atchison. I know I've seen that before. Tatum's saying that there's a lot of cases that are not getting silver alerts. Amanda says, would a silver alert be considered those with medical issues? From what I understand, and I am not educated on this whatsoever, from what I understand, silver alert generally means somebody who has some type of dementia or confusion. Maybe don't, and that's the thing. In order to have confusion, my buddy's 30. No, he's 41 years old and he has dementia.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff wrong with him. He's a soldier. He was around some questionable things over the years, and he's got a bunch of diseases at 41. So if he was missing, it would probably be a silver alert because he doesn't have his wits about him all the time. So I think a silver alert, and again, I'm not educated on this. I think that's when somebody is maybe confused and missing, which is scary because they don't even know they're missing, and they oftentimes are missing medications they're supposed to be taking, missing, a lot of times if people are confused like that, their lifeline is their family members that help them out throughout the week, so yeah. And I threw that next case over in private chat. I'll keep doing that for you, Ricky, so you can kind of stay on top of that.
Okay.
But
well, I'm trying to go through and pull them as I find them.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Kimberly Ann says, hello from Fremont. Here, Tatum will tell us what's going on. She says, silver alerts are for mental health issues such as, okay, yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. But you see silver and you just think like somebody with silver hair. And you automatically, to me, it's like you automatically assume that a silver alert would be somebody who was elderly. But yeah, it's actually people who are just confused. So my buddy's 41. If he got lost, it would be a silver alert probably because he's very confused a lot of times. But let's go ahead. Pardon me. Is it Sarai Garcia?
Sarai Garcia. Okay.
Tatum says that they do that sometimes with medical as well.
Yeah, I've seen
that's always scary. It's always scary when somebody doesn't have. Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen some younger folks that were put out there as silver alerts as well.
Well, one thing that's always scary too is if somebody's confused, they more than likely are supposed to be taking some kind of medication. And if they're out lost, they're probably not getting that medication, which is probably exacerbating the problem that's making them confused. It's just dangerous when somebody gets lost like that and they need help, so. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Sarai.
Okay, she's missing from Salina, Kansas since June 17th of 2021. She was 16 when she went missing. She'd now be 17. She's 5'2" to 5'4". She weighs 180 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. It's believed she may be in Lyons, Kansas or Colorado. Again, she's 16. When she went missing, she was 16. She's now 17. 5'2" to 5'4", weighs 180 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Sarai's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Little River, Kansas Police Department at 620-257-2363 or 620-897-6444 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Sarai found back to where she needs to be.
Right there in Salina. Did we just get this case? Because she's been missing a year and she's in your town. Did we just find out about Sarai?
I think I don't remember. No, I didn't have her before, so we just recently got that one. Yeah.
Wow, and that's what's crazy. We try to talk about that on this show. We show so many flyers each week, and we're barely scratching the tip of the people that are actually missing in the state of Kansas. Like we only know about what family members and LE tells us, but there's so many people that are missing right now that don't have flyers because we don't know about it. It's a scary situation.
Yeah, that or if we find them on KBI, a lot of them on KBI still don't have photos, but some of them are getting them now, and that's where some of these are coming from too. Is they're starting to show up for photos. So now we're like, okay, now we can do a flyer.
Yeah. Tatum says she found her in some other cases. Oh, they're going through KBI. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's good. Like I said, it's been a year, and we've been reporting out of Salina for a year. I'm glad we finally covered Sarai. It's like. We're doing good things here. I'm glad this came up. Lori says, silver alert, when a person 65 years of age or older or a person suffering from dementia is reported missing by family members or caregivers. Well, that's why I was curious about Susan, because she was like 84, I believe. So that's over 65. But, we just put on the flyers what people tell us.
Right.
Let's go ahead and talk about Timothy Durgan. This looks like it's a fairly new case out of Missouri.
Yeah, we've actually covered him at least once or twice now, but we're trying to get him located. And I'm looking for his flyer as we speak. And there it is.
April 1st, looks like.
Yeah. From Independence, Missouri. Yep, missing from there since April 1st of this year. He's 34. He's 5'7", 160 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. Timothy resides in Independence near 18th and Arlington. However, it's reported that he may have last been seen in the 2800 block of East 12th Street in Kansas City, Missouri. And he's 34. He's 5'7", weighs 160 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes. He has a tattoo that says Reamed on his chest, Durgan on his back, Celtic bands on each wrist, a sea dragon on his inner left forearm, a zombie robot on his left upper forearm, or his left upper arm, excuse me. One Love 62515 Megan on the right side of his neck, a sea turtle on the back of his right calf, KC above a black keyhole on his right hand, and a teardrop below his left eye. So he's got several tattoos there. So if you have any information regarding Timothy's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, please call Detective Steve Brashears with the Independence, Missouri Police Department at 816-325-7820, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free number 866-362-6422. See if we can't get Timothy located and back home safe where he needs to be.
Yeah, you can see that tattoo on his neck there.
Yeah.
I think tattoos are really cool. I have a couple. I just can't imagine sitting through something like that on the side of your neck. Like the ones that I have, like my wife's one of those people. Like she never got a tattoo till she was like 28, 27 probably. And she no, I'm sorry, 28. And she likes it. Like she likes to go and she likes the pain. I'm just like, you're so weird. Like every time I got a tattoo, I hated every second of it until it was done and it looked cool. But yeah, I always see people with tattoos like that. I'm just like, man, that takes a lot of like self-control to lay there while somebody draws on your skin like that.
Yeah. I don't have any yet. I keep thinking I'm going to. Yeah, I keep thinking I'm going to, and I keep talking myself out of it.
I didn't think that you would do it for religious reasons.
Well, the tattoo I wanted to get actually, and I keep thinking about it's actually I saw on the back of a T-shirt at a Christian concert, and it's a cross, and on the cross it says "Loyal to one, God's only Son."
Where would you get this tattoo?
Just like on my arm.
On your arm, where you can kind of cover it up when you go to work and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Does Double T have a tattoo?
Yeah, I think he's got one. It's Chiefs logo.
Just a Chiefs logo on his butt.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
On his arm.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, let's go ahead and cover some more cases. Let's talk about Rodney K. Adams.
Okay.
And this looks like another Missouri case, and he's had a couple birthdays since he's been missing.
Yeah, sadly, some of them have. Let's see.
And I definitely don't know where Hazelwood, Missouri is.
I don't either. I'm starting to get familiar with some of them, a few of them, but not too many.
Right.
Okay, yep. Missing from Hazelwood, Missouri since April 16th of 2021. He's 55 when he was missing, and now be 57. He's 5'6", 190 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Of course, he was last seen in Hazelwood. If you have any information regarding Rodney's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Hazelwood, Missouri Police Department at 314-838-5000 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422. See if we can't get Rodney located and back to where he needs to be. And hopefully he is okay.
You hate to see two birthdays.
Yeah.
Double T says Hazelwood in the St. Louis area, home of Bigfoot, 4x4.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then Terry just left backstage. I saw something happened. I'm worried. I saw the phone jostle around and then he left. So there he is. He's back.
He probably hit something like a ding dong.
I thought you were going to have to make a flyer for him, man. He was gone.
Right.
There he goes again. Fire up the computer, Ricky. I'm worried about Double T, man. This is there. He's back. Let's talk about Christina Renee Bishop. Now, this one is 1994. If my math is correct, that would be 20. What would it be? 60? I don't know. 28 years ago.
Yeah, about 28 years, almost.
Okay.
In October it will be, yeah.
Well, because Ty Marquardt passed away in 95, and I thought that was 27 years. So yeah, I was trying to, but yeah, go ahead and tell us about this. This is a very old case.
Okay, yep. She's missing from Columbia, Missouri since October 19th of 1994. She was 13 when she was missing. She'd now be 41. She's 5'6" to 5'7". She weighs between 110 and 115 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. Christina said goodbye to her sister and a friend and departed from her family's residence to walk to school during the morning hours of October 19th, 1994 in Columbia, Missouri. A witness observed a four-door vehicle stop, along Christina's street and watched as Christina spoke to the male driver. Christina and the man talked for a few minutes. Then she got in the car and they drove away. She never arrived for her classes at Jefferson Junior High School and has not been seen again. Christina had run away from home once before after she got in a fight with her mother. She and her mother weren't arguing when she went missing in October 1994, however. She may have been accompanied by a 22-year-old male when she disappeared in 1994. Her case was originally classified as a runaway, but authorities aren't sure whether she left of her own accord, and she's now listed as an endangered missing child. Her disappearance remains unsolved. If you have any information regarding Christina's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Columbia, Missouri Police Department at 573-874-7652 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422 and see if we can't help get Christina located, and hopefully she's okay and we can get her found and back to where she needs to be.
Tatum has some pretty daunting numbers here. Kansas has 560 reported missing as of today, and Missouri has 1,269 reported cases.
Wow.
That is rough, and it's sad that not sad. I mean, we're blessed to have an audience on either page, but our Kansas page is very happening compared to the Missouri page, and it looks like Missouri needs all the help it can get. So if you know anybody in the Missouri area, have them follow our page because it looks like we have our work cut out for us. Rodney wants to know, does a teardrop tattoo beneath the eye mean you've killed someone?
I've heard different things on that. I've heard it means that, and I've also heard that teardrop also could mean that you spend a year in jail, and if you have 2 teardrops, that's 2 years. 3 teardrops, that's 3 years. I've heard both signs of this. I don't know.
It's hard to tell. Tatum kind of said, she says that's been known to be the case, but not sure all of them that is the case. Dawn says tattoos are addicting. Amanda Cunningham says, I read that earlier today. It's insane. See, Roxanne's calling me out. She says tattoos don't hurt. Oh, bull. They do too, Roxanne. I almost cried. Trisha Arnold finally shows up.
Yeah.
She is in the house. She must have been watching that Chiefs game. Got some Christopher Lee Saunders is in the house. Don Lynn's here. Rodney Cox says Ted Bundy's face should have been covered in teardrop tattoos. And then Misty Overcast from Kansas City. Wow. Well, it's just really sad. You see this Christina flyer, and how horrible do her friends and family have to feel all these years later?
Right.
I mean, it's like never knowing what happened, never knowing where it happened to your friend, your daughter. I just can't imagine, and that's kind of why the reason we do this show, because I think that anybody that has a kid knows how terrible it would be to be in the shoes of Christina's family and friends. That's just so terrible that nobody knows anything about what happened to Christina since October of 94. So I'm glad we're sharing this flyer. I'm glad this case was brought up tonight, and hopefully we can get somebody in the Missouri area watching this, and maybe they have some information from back then. Trisha's not a Chiefs fan. And Esther Unruh is here from Greensburg. Trisha is not a Chiefs fan.
You know me, by rights, first choice for me is Dallas Cowboys, and Chiefs is my second. So there's that.
I like the Bears. That's my favorite team growing up, but I pay more attention to the Cardinals these days because I can actually catch games. I've never been to a Bears game because I don't really go to Chicago. But partial to those teams. I also like the Carolina Panthers. I used to live in Raleigh.
Oh wow.
Brandini's happy back there. He's like, yeah, Carolina Panthers. Except for that time they beat the Bears in the Super. Well, I don't remember. It was a bad day. Cade Rydell and that Tonganoxie. Definitely never heard of that town.
I've heard of it, but it's been a while. I've never been there. I would like to actually do a road trip one day and just check out some of these small little towns around and see what they're like.
I am down to go on that.
Fun to do. That would be fun to do. Let's see right now.
You could probably tour Kansas in 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
Hey, Cade Rydell. Yep, missing from Tonganoxie, Kansas since June 10th of 2022. He's 15 when he went missing. He's now 16. He's 5'8" to 5'9", 150 pounds. He has light brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Cade's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Tonganoxie, Kansas Police Department at 913-682-5724 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get him located and back to where he needs to be. And I'm judging from the 913 area code. I'd say it's over by Kansas City.
Okay.
I think I've managed to try to get everything repulled that we need to have, so I think I'm good.
So that's going to be about 3 months he's been missing.
Yeah. We got a K Ray here from Stockton, Kansas, joining us. Hey, Kay, how you doing?
Double T says you and your sister like the Panthers. Oh, your sister likes the Panthers.
Yeah, my sister likes the Panthers, yes.
Yeah. Ooh, Trisha Arm likes the Cow. Trisha, come on. No, I'm just kidding. My mom's a diehard Cowboys
Trisha's
fan.
Another Cowboys fan. Yay.
Yeah, that's my mom's favorite team. I can't hate them too much. She cheers for them. Let's talk about Carl Lee Larson, Paola, Kansas. Another one, sadly, I couldn't point out on a map.
All right. Yep, missing from Paola, Kansas since February 25th of 2004. He's 43 when he was missing. He's now 62. He's 5'8", 140 pounds. He has brown hair that is balding and blue eyes. He was last seen in Paola, Kansas. That day he asked his mother to pick up his son from school. He was a single parent with full custody. He's never been heard from again. In late March 2004, Carl's 10 four-door 1992 Saturn was found abandoned behind a farmhouse in rural Lynn County, Kansas. He often went duck hunting in that area. His vehicle had apparently been parked there for a long time. It was locked, and Carl's keys and ID were inside, but there was no trace of him. In May of 2004, Carl's mother was cleaning out his apartment when she found a receipt for a box of bullets for a handgun. The receipt was dated just before Carl vanished. It is unknown what, if anything, this has to do with his disappearance. The handgun wasn't inside his apartment, and all of his other guns were at his mom's home. It's theorized that Carl may have taken his own life, but there's no evidence to support that theory. Shortly before his disappearance, he lost his job with the Paola Public Works Department. Carl suffers from schizoaffective disorder. I'm not sure exactly what that is. A mental illness which causes him to hear voices. He was prescribed medication to control the condition, but he may not have been taking it at the time of his disappearance. He may have been suicidal. If you have any information regarding Carl's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Paola, Kansas Police Department at 913-294-4191 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And we'll see if we can help get Carl located and back home, hopefully.
Schizoaffective disorder. It's a mental health disorder that's a simple combination of schizophrenia symptoms, like hallucinations or delusions, and then also a mood disorder, like depression or mania. So it's kind of like bipolar and schizophrenia combined.
Right.
I have a friend who has schizoaffective disorder. I love him. He's a great guy, but he struggles in life, and it is not his fault. I know that the schizoaffective disorder, it's hard to have a regular routine. It's hard to be, just doing what everybody else is doing. It's not easy. So anybody that suffers from that, it's
Right.
my heart goes out to them, because that's a tough thing to deal with in life.
It
It's
is. Yep.
basically a double dose of mental illness.
I did a flyer for a guy several years back that suffered from that kind of thing and heard voices and stuff. And when he went missing, his family member told me that he had been hearing voices, and the voices had convinced him that 50 Cent, the rapper, stole a song from him, and he owed him money. So he hopped a bus and went to LA to get this money from 50 Cent.
Wow.
Luckily, he was located safe and returned back home. So, but yeah. Yep,
Misty says she has it. Well, Misty, I have bipolar disorder and OCD, so I have a double dose myself. But I got to tell you, the whole schizophrenia, that's a whole different ball game. When you're hearing things and seeing things that aren't really there, that's really hard to cope.
Yeah, and Double T and our mom, she was diagnosed schizophrenic, and she was having voice issues as well.
Yeah, it's very common.
Yeah.
Rodney Cox says Eastern Central Kansas. Are we still talking about payola here?
Must be.
Okay. Let's talk about Kiana Turner, Princeton, Kansas. Pretty new case.
Yeah. Well, we've covered her a couple of times. She's been found and gone and found and gone. So she's gone again. Missing from Princeton, Kansas on August 2nd, 2022. She's 17 years old, 5'6", 145 pounds, has dark blonde hair and blue eyes. It's believed that she may be in the Pittsburgh, Kansas area. So if you have any information regarding Kiana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Franklin County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-229-1200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Kiana located and back to where she needs to be. Kiana, if you see this or somebody tells you about it, get a hold of somebody, let them know where you are so they can, get you found and back and where you need to be. We had a situation with one of her prior flyers where she was actually commenting on her flyer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I can't remember exactly what it was she said, but I had rebutted with, I think she was saying something about the flyer or whatever. She was saying it was fake news and whatnot. And we reassured everybody in the comments that it was legit. Put the link up for KBI's website showing that she was legit missing and everything. And basically told her, as long as she kept choosing to do this, I was going to keep choosing to make flyers and put them up of her. So,
right.
Yep.
Wow.
Letting her know what
that happens.
What the score was. Yeah.
Fairly often you have people that are commenting on their flyers.
Periodically we get one. I had one kid one time, and I had to ask my daughters what this meant because I had no idea, but he commented that he wasn't missing, he was Gucci. And I was like, what does that even mean? So I had to ask my kids, he said he's Gucci. What does that mean? They said, oh, okay, good. And so it means okay, good. I'm like, why couldn't he just say that? What did he have to say? He was Gucci.
My buddy said that to me a few years ago, and I didn't know what it meant. About 5 years ago. He asked me if I could do something, and I was like, I should be free. He's like, we Gucci. And I had to Google it. I was like, what is he talking about? He's way younger than me. Missy says bipolar 1. I honestly don't know what I am, Missy. It was so long ago that I got diagnosed.
I didn't know there was different levels of bipolar.
Well, there's type 1 and type 2.
Really?
So, yeah.
I wonder which one my daughter is, because my daughter is too.
Kaylee is here. Yeah, I'm not
sure. She's being treated for it anyway, but
yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I see it in her, believe me. Oh my goodness.
She's a kindred spirit. Me and your daughter both deal with mental health stuff. So.
Oh yes.
Let's talk about Kendra and have we covered her before July?
I think we did once, I believe so.
And she looks so familiar.
Yeah, it was interesting because last night it was brought to my attention that Cake did a story on their news channel, on their news website, and on their TV channel was a story regarding Indigenous women and the difficulty and getting their missing and murdered investigated properly, and the issues they run into with when it crosses jurisdictional lines and things of that nature. And during the course of the video, watching that, they popped up Kendra's flyer on the screen and referred to her case specifically. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty neat. But it always surprises me where our flyers pop up sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it happens all the time, man. I just hope honestly that it gets people to look at the top of it and see that, oh, there's a community where people are sharing these kinds of flyers. And there's just honestly, I'm on Reddit. There's so many missing that there's a lot of people doing what we're doing. It's great. Like, because these people can't fight for themselves, They don't, nobody knows who they are. So,
and during the course of that, the story they did, they were talking about, the issues with the jurisdictional lines and everything. And it's been difficult because they got information. They said in this video that they had information that apparently Kendra is in Wichita, that they've been told that she was in Wichita. But getting the police involved to follow up on it has been a difficult thing. So, and apparently there's a new law in Kansas that's supposed to help break down those issues. So hopefully that will. But anyhow, getting on to Kendra Nicole Botello. She's been from Enid, Oklahoma since July 5th of this year. She's 24. She's 5'8", weighs 115 pounds. She has black hair and dark brown eyes. She was reportedly seen on July 20th after knocking on the door of a woman's house in Pawnee, Oklahoma, and asking for a glass of water. The woman reported her contact with Kendra on July 22nd after seeing an online post about Kendra being missing. Family states, however, that Kendra was last actually seen on the evening of July 7th. Kendra is affiliated with the Muskogee tribe, and she is known to travel to Bristow, Oklahoma. And of course, as I mentioned in that news story that I saw last night, they mentioned that they have information that leads them to believe that she's in the Wichita area. So if we get this flyer shared heavily around the Wichita area, that would be great. And again, she's 24 years, she's 5'8", weighs 115 pounds. She has short black hair, but often wears wigs of various hair colors, which you can see in the photos there. And she has dark brown eyes. She does have mental health issues and has a substance abuse disorder. If you have any information regarding Kendra's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Enid, Oklahoma Police Department at 580-242-7000 or the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation tip line at 800-522-8017, or their email address is tips@osbi.ok.gov, and see if we can't get Kendra located and back to her family where she needs to be. I know her cousin has really been going on her TikTok and really been pushing Kendra's case on her TikTok as well.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's always been theorized that she's in Wichita, because Tatum made a comment that when we first got her case, they thought she was in Wichita. So apparently that's still the thinking, is that's where she's at. Just a matter of getting her found and making sure she's okay.
Well, I got people messaging me about these flyers. Sorry about this. 1 second.
Okay.
All right. Let me see. All right. Yeah. I was gonna say, because she looks so familiar, and I have a lot of friends in the Oklahoma area, and a lot of friends in the indigenous population as well. So I actually sent this. That's why I was kind of checked out there for a second. I actually just sent Kendra's flyer to like 15 people I know in the Enid area.
Yeah, and a real quick note, that photo of her with the short hair is the most recent photo of her that they had. Her natural hair was that short when she went missing. But again, she wears all kinds of different wigs. So,
right. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure I shared that with some Oklahoma friends, because that
Good deal.
Very familiar.
And if you can get it shared heavily in Wichita, that would be great as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, share them all over the place. If you see our flyer, share it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Union, Missouri, and this is another older case, 1995. So we're looking at 27-ish years ago.
Right. Jessica and Kinsey, missing from Union, Missouri since December 26, 1995. She was 14 when she went missing. She would now be 41. She's 5'5", 160 pounds. She has brown hair and hazel eyes. She may be with an adult companion, and she was last seen in Cloverdale, Indiana. So might want to get that flyer up in the Indiana area. If anybody knows anybody in Indiana, get the flyer shared up there, please. At the time of her disappearance, she was 14. She would now be 41. She's 5'5", weighs 160 pounds. She has brown hair and hazel eyes, and she does wear eyeglasses. She has a small scar on the inside of her left forearm near her elbow and may have a tattoo on her neck of the word Capone, which I thought was interesting for a 14-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any information regarding Jessica's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Union, Missouri Police Department at 636-583-3700 or Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422 and see if we can't get Jessica located and see if she's fine and hopefully living a good life. And hopefully she is.
That's so sad. So long ago.
Yeah, it is.
I like the 95 haircut though. It's very
Yeah.
it's a throwback. I remember those haircuts.
Yeah.
Most of the females in my family wore their hair like that. That's really sad though. It's just again, just like the one we were talking about earlier, like 20 some years not knowing what happened to your friend, daughter. It's just that's a lot of heartache, man. That's a lot of heartache. That's heavy.
It is.
Let's talk about Dahlia. Is it Dahlia?
I don't know if it's Dahlia or Dahlia or.
Okay.
She is missing from Wichita, Kansas since August 17th of 2022. She's 47 years old. She's 5'1", 130 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Dahlia's disappearance or if you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Dahlia located and back home safe. And hopefully she's doing good.
Right.
Just maybe out there taking her time out somewhere and trying to get things straight.
That's what you hope. You hope that she's just blowing steam off somewhere. I've done it before where you just check out for a few days. But I mean, this has been a little while. And that's kind of, my heart goes out to the family because Dahlia looks like somebody who has an agenda every day, somebody who has places to be, has responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't look like somebody who just like hangs out all day. She looks like somebody who has a lot of responsibilities, and none of those responsibilities have been taken care of since August 17th. And that's just very scary, like, again, you hope it's like she just blew some steam off. She's taking a break somewhere. But I mean, as family members, as LE, you kind of got to take it serious too. You got to wonder, did something happen here? Because, most adults don't just walk away for this long. It's been several days now.
Right.
So, I'm worried. I'm worried for the family. And I hope that, I hope that all the right questions are being asked because, you hate to see somebody with such, somebody who has such a life going for them. It's often we see somebody under the age of like 18 that is missing, and a lot of times they're missing on their own volition. But when you see an adult missing, to me, it's very, very scary. Even if they are missing on their own accord, I don't feel like you're in the best mental health space if you're just taking off and not telling your loved ones where you're going. So irregardless, I think this is a pretty big deal. And if anybody in the Wichita area knows anything, has seen her, knows somebody that has seen her, sounds like a lot of people are very worried.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see if we can't get her located. Let's see, get this shared around Wichita and see what we can do to get her found.
Yeah. And Tatum's making. She said, "Yes, we did cover." Oh, okay. I think we're talking about that last one. She said when we first got her case, they thought she was in Wichita.
Yeah, that would be Botello. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Kendra.
Because I'll say she looks very familiar. It wasn't that long ago that we covered her.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Let's talk about Hilario Moran. Okay. Or Moran.
Moran. Yeah.
Wichita.
No, I pulled him.
I noticed some of these flyers, our heights and weights are pretty vague. That's just
Yeah, and some of that comes from when I'm doing a flyer and I get information from one person, then I look at KBI and there's a little bit of a conflict. I'll use both of them to cover both bases just in case one's wrong. I mean, obviously one's going to be wrong, but not knowing which one is,
I mean, if you have a little kid, you usually measure your little kid, like every few months you'll put a mark in the kitchen on the wall. But you don't really measure your 17-year-old. So you don't it's probably pretty common not to know really how tall your kid is, unless they're just like freakishly taller than you, and then you kind of know how tall they are. But I mean, for the most part, my kid's 8. I don't know how tall he is. I haven't checked it in a while, So it's hard. It's tough to really peg down specifics on a lot of these flyers, but it's in the general ballpark. Did you get the flyer pulled?
Yep, got it.
Okay, go ahead.
One I missed. Hilario Moran, he's missing from Wichita, Kansas since July 22nd of this year. So almost little over a month. 17 years old. He's 5'5" to 5'7". He's 130 to 150 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Hilario's disappearance, his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-268-4111 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Hilario located and back to where he needs to be.
Yeah, month is a long time.
Gravy. All right.
Let's talk about, is this Canyon?
Yep, Kenyon McAllister.
That's a really cool name.
Yeah, it is. And he is on my list somewhere. Or not.
Hutchinson, Kansas.
Yeah.
Like last year.
Let's see here. Let me grab him real quick here. Darn technical difficulties anyway.
Oh, you didn't get that one pulled either?
No, I thought I had them all covered. Should be the last one I don't have pulled. Darn having to reset my computer anyway. He's missing from Hutchinson, Kansas since October 13th of 2021. He was 17 when he went missing. He'd now be 18. He's 5'10", weighs 250 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Canyon's disappearance, his whereabouts, please call the Hutchinson, Kansas Police Department at 620-694-2816 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Canyon located and back to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's okay. And Canyon, if you see this or hear this, let somebody know where you're at and that you're ready to be picked up and brought home.
Right. Let somebody know you're safe at least. I mean, we're creeping up on a year. You got to let somebody know you're safe.
Definitely.
At least that much, I mean, I see now that you're 18, it's that I don't know the legalities of that. I don't know, but at least, the very least, you should at least contact somebody and say, hey, I'm alive, I'm safe, I'm doing fine. But not knowing if you're alive or not is probably very, very, very scary for the people in your life that care about you.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about Gary Wayne Akers. And I actually emailed this one to a friend of mine a little bit ago because he's in Akers. And I asked if he was related to this guy. And he said from what he said he didn't think so. But it's it's a pretty commonish last name. But, Kansas, Missouri are right next to each other. So I checked it out.
Right. All right. Gary Wayne Akers missing from Union, Missouri since December 11th, 1988. He was 35 when he was missing. He'll now be 69. So he's been missing about 34 years. He's 5'7", 160 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. He may go by his middle name Wayne as opposed to Gary. And he was last seen in Union, Missouri on December 11th of 88, of course. He left home at 11:30 p.m. to borrow a chainsaw from a neighbor so he could cut wood for his family's wood stove. At midnight, he bought a 6-pack of beer at Mom's Hilltop Tavern in Grubville, Missouri. He never returned home and has never been heard from again. At 8 a.m. on December 12th, Gary's wife of 11 years found his black Jeep abandoned just off Route FF at the entrance to the subdivision where they lived with their 4 children. 4 cans of beer were inside the vehicle, and the keys were hidden above the sun visor. The search of the area turned up no signs of violence and no indication of Gary's whereabouts. Authorities believe Gary could have been the victim of foul play. He was involved with marijuana and methamphetamine at the time of his disappearance, something his wife was completely unaware of. He had been threatened prior to his disappearance after he went missing. His wife had to move because she was getting threatening phone calls as well. Gary worked the night shift on the assembly line at the Ford Motor Company in Hazelwood at the time of his disappearance. He purchased Christmas presents for his children the day he went missing, and his wife does not believe he would have abandoned the family. His brother and sister-in-law thinks he's no longer alive, and his case does remain unsolved. If you have any information regarding Gary's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Franklin County, Missouri Sheriff's Office at 636-583-2560 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422 and see if we can't help find Gary and get him back to where he needs to be. It's been a long 34 years.
That's a long time.
Yep.
Just missing.
Yeah. And Dawn says her daughter lives in South Hutch, and then Tatum says as an adult you can call Ellie and check in with them so they can verify that they're okay and resolve their missing persons report depending on the situation. The statute for Kansas and Missouri is that Ellie doesn't have to give out your location if you don't want it. Others to know where you're at. They can just let the person who reported it know that they've been located and are okay, which is true. All they have to do is say, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. I just don't want anybody to know where I'm at."
And I'm cool with that 100%.
Yeah.
If somebody's an adult, 18 years old, and they don't want people to know where they are, but they can say, "Yeah, I'm fine. Like I'm not hurt at all, but I don't want anybody to know where I am." I mean, remember back in the day when there was phone books, I mean, people used to pay extra to be unlisted, you know. There's a lot of perks to people not knowing where you are and who you are all the time, you know. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, like if you're on a missing persons poster, at least, you know, like Tatum saying, at least just call the police. But hey, I'm okay. I don't want to tell people where I'm at, but I'm okay.
Right.
You can close out that case, you know. That would be great, you know, because at least they would let people stop worrying, because you never know. There might be some friends that are worried, think there might be something going on, something, you know, bad.
Yeah.
So that can maybe lay to rest some fears that they have. Right. Let's talk about Brian Gillian. How do you say that?
I think it's Gilliland, I think.
Okay.
And I know I pulled his dadgummit.
Sometimes they can do it over the phone, and sometimes has to be in person. Just depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's really cool that you know, that's an option, because sometimes people don't want to go back to where they're from, and if they're an adult, it's up to them where they want to stand, you know. So it is good to let people know you're safe, though. You don't want to be on a missing persons poster if you can help it, for sure.
Okay. And Brian's missing from Parsons, Kansas since August 18th of this year. He's 16 years old. He's 5'7", 170 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Brian's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Parsons, Kansas Police Department at 620-421-7060 or 620-421-7057 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Brian Gilliland located and back to where he needs to be. And hopefully he is doing fine and just needs to get a hold of somebody and say, "Hey, I'm fine. Come get me."
Yeah, it's been 7 days?
Yep.
That's a nice break.
Yeah, definitely.
Time to go back, and school started, you know, this week for most places. Yeah. You got your first rounds of high school football coming up in the next week or two. Like, the school season started. It's time to get busy, and I tell you, if anybody out there is watching this show and you're a younger person and you might be missing on your own volition, take it from me, get an education.
Right.
Even if it's just finishing high school, you will be surprised how much further you can get in life with a high school diploma versus without one, or a GED. But I'm just saying, like, make sure that your education is important to you on some level. That's your brain. You gotta be firing on all cylinders. So if school's going on, let's go back to school. Let's learn. Let's integrate back into society. And looks like in a couple years you'll be 18. You can kind of do what you want to do, but hopefully what you want to do in 2 years is continue learning in some capacity.
Yep, definitely. And Terry, check your messages. I sent you a message.
Let's talk about Byron here. Webster Grove, Missouri.
Yeah, I don't know if that's Jim or Gem or what that
Gem.
is. Let's see here. He is missing from, like I said, Webster Grove, Missouri since July 3rd of this year. 16. He's 5'4", 121 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. I believe that he may be in the local St. Louis area or Peabody, Missouri area. And he's 16 years old. He's 5'4", weighs 121 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Byron's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Webster Groves, Missouri Police Department at 314-645-3000 or Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or the toll-free number 866-362-6422 and see if we can't get him located and back to where he needs to be.
Webster Grove. Never heard of it, but I don't know much about Missouri. But you know what? I've driven like in parts of Missouri probably twice in my life. I've drove over to Missouri, not too far in. Like the top one was Columbia, and then kind of like Joplin,
Right.
just around those areas. But both sides, North Missouri, South Missouri, over there on the west side, beautiful.
I've only been to Kansas City a few times.
Well, I'm telling you, man, really beautiful country out there on the Missouri side, man. Just, Kansas has got beautiful country too. But when I went to Missouri those few times, man, I was really blown away by how pretty it was. Let's talk about Ashanti.
Okay. A second here. Ashanti McGill. I was kind of surprised to see she was still missing. I thought I'd updated her at one point. But of course, I've made multiple flyers for her. So,
right.
She's missing from Topeka, Kansas since May 19th of 2022. She's 17 years old. She's 5'8", 125 pounds. She has brown hair that's dyed red and brown eyes. It's believed that she is still in the Topeka area. If you have any information regarding Ashanti's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department. It's 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Ashanti located and back to where she needs to be. And she does tend to go by the name Shanti instead of Ashanti. So please keep your eyes out for her, and let's see if we can't get her found back to where she needs to be.
And we're going to kind of burn through some cases here because we got quite a few left, and we are at our hour mark.
By my count, 7.
Yeah, we got quite a few left. Let's talk about Gabriella.
Yep, she's missing from Denver, Colorado since April 30th of 2022. She's 26. She's 5'2", 112 pounds. She has blonde hair that could be dyed and blue eyes. She may go by the names of Bree, Ellie, Gabby, or Gabby, different spellings, Gabby or Gabbie. She is homeless and is known to be in the north part of Denver in districts 1, 2, or 6. She's also known to couch surf, be at tent camps or on the streets. She has a location to pick up mail, but has not been there to pick it up in over 2 months. Her father recently passed away, and her family needs to notify her of his passing. She knows her father's phone number and calls from time to time. Despite his passing, the phone remains on to contact her family. She does have prescribed medication, but is not currently taking them. you have any information regarding Gabrielle's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Denver, Colorado Police Department. It's 720-913-6653 and see if we can't get Gabrielle located and back to where she needs to be. And the one picture of her in that black stocking cap there is one of the more recent photos of her that was taken. It was actually taken with her dad before he passed.
Oh, wow. Well, that's sad.
Yep.
That's terrible.
Yep.
Let's talk about Kenny Rightcheck.
Yes. Good old Kenny. He is missing from here in Salina, Kansas since November 4th of 2019. He was 69 when he went missing. He'd now be 72. He's 5'9", weighs 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities, and he is on disability, but he has not tried to access his money since he was last seen. He may have family in the northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He left there and hasn't been seen or heard from since. He does not have a cell phone, a vehicle, or any identification. He mainly would use a bicycle to get around town to pick up scrap metal and take it to all metal recycling that used to be Salina Iron and Metal. And last time I talked to them about Kenny, they said they haven't seen him in a very long time as well. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He would now be 72. And he's 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds. He has gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Kenny located and back to where he needs to be. And I wished I could make contact with somebody in his family, but I have yet to be able to do that.
Yeah. Oops. Let's talk about Alexander Perez.
Alrighty. He is missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. He's 35 when he went missing. He'd now be 36. He is 5'11", weighs 235 pounds. He has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He had contacted a family member on the phone on December 1st and said he'd be coming over to do some laundry. He never arrived at that family member's home in Ulysses. He has not been heard from or seen by his family or friends since then. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed Alexander may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City, Kansas, or surrounding areas. And at the time of his disappearance, Alex was 35 years old. He's now 36. He's 5'11" and weighs 235 pounds. He has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He does have a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face, on his underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms, and he has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Alex located and back to where he needs to be. And did you want to play that message again or?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm supposed to be going back early morning to go get some shit and then go get some other stuff down there and bring it back down here, but I don't even know, man. It's been wild down there. It's been crazy. Fucking been held at gunpoint and robbed and tried to beat me up. It's a bunch of crazy shit going on in GC, man.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough message there. Looked like it was going pretty tough time in Garden City there.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can help get him found and back to his family.
Yeah, I keep hoping for resolution on that. Let's talk about Dana Jane Bruce.
All right. She is missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th of 2008. She was 23 when she was missing. She'll now be 37. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair and green or hazel eyes. And she was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight, gave the babysitter more money, and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. She was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with the young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with that night, and he had traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance. And police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities haven't named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She doesn't have credit cards, debit cards, a checking account, cell phone, or a car. At the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She'd now be 37. She's 5'2" and weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel in silver lettering on the front of it and blue jeans. Dana had a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She's blind in her left eye. Dana has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department. It's 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178. Or the toll-free number is 866-362-6422, and see if we can't get Dana located and back to her family. I know they're still hoping and praying every day that Dana's found and brought home.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, we're pretty far over, man. Do you want to cover these homicides quickly, or do you want to save them from next week and cover them like pretty exclusively because they look like they have some stories to them?
Yeah. I would like to at least cover Brewer and Wasmer if we could.
Okay, let's go ahead and cover Brewer.
We can save the other two for the next show. Let's see here. It's an unsolved homicide, obviously. Michael Brewer and Keith Wasmer were found murdered in the woods near Longview Lake. Tips received in the 4-year-old case indicates that Michael and Keith had gone to the Longview Lake Marina to meet a man named Sam, but never returned. Wasmer's car was located the next day under suspicious circumstances. If you have any information regarding Michael Brewer and Keith Wasmer's deaths, please call the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 or go online to Kansas City or kccrimestoppers.com. There is a reward of up to $25,000 available for any information that leads to an arrest or filing of charges in the case. All information is anonymous, and tipsters do not have to testify in court to receive the reward. So I encourage anybody that has any information regarding Michael Brewer and Keith Wasmer to please call that information in and see if we can't help find out who did this to them and get some justice for their families.
That's not good. Yeah, 2018. Have we covered this?
No, actually, I just did this flyer.
Wow.
Just here recently.
We're just barely scratching the surface. I'm telling you, man. We don't know half of what's going on.
And Ellen saying thank you for sharing Dana's flyer. You're very welcome, Ellen. No problem at all.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and play a located safe real quick, and then we're gonna come back and say goodbye.
Yeah.
I gotta get up early. I gotta get my fingerprint done tomorrow for the state for my new job. But you're watching Kansas Missing SL podcast. We'll be right back after this.
I always like to see those located safe reels. Those are really good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Right?
Unfortunately, recently we have had a couple of located deceased, sadly, and we'll have to do another located deceased reel at some point down the road.
Yeah.
Those are always sad to do.
Yeah. I need to post that to the page, though. I haven't posted that. We need to start posting our located safes to the Facebook page, too.
Yeah.
That's something we could be doing. But anyway, man, we're about 15 minutes over, man. You want to go ahead and get us out of here?
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight so we could cover these cases and try to help bring some closures to some families and bring some missing people home to their families. And I just want to keep everybody safe and healthy and, doing the best we can, Heavenly Father, until we see each other again this coming Tuesday. Everybody stay safe. God bless, and amen.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicidal crisis or emotional distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.